What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Retold action. I almost said Titans there. Spawning in the blue color, playing as the new god Freyr. His name is Recon. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Pegasus. Hey, thank you to the raiding party, Ulysses. Appreciate you, my friend. Hope your stream went really well. If you guys don't know these two players, these are two of the best to ever play Age of Mythology. Well, I know Pegasus Rush is one of the best to ever play Age of Mythology. Recon is one of the best Age of Empires 4 players, but also he received a very gracious third seed for the Red Bull qualifier. What does that mean, basically? It means that of the players playing or who helped out with creating, all the top players who helped out with creating Age of Mythology Retold, Recon is one of the players that they say is the best. So he's an absolute monster, to say the very least. His opponent here, Pegasus Rush, he is arguably the best Zeus player to have ever played on Age of Mythology. There's some other people in that conversation, like the Mister, like AoM King, like Magyar, but he is one of the best, and I'm very excited to watch what he does. He's got a really aggressive Zeus style, and we'll see if that's going to suit him in this game. He's going up against Freyr, who is a really defensive Norse god. This is the most defensive Norse god out there. If you guys want to watch these guys playing, they both stream their own perspectives. Recon's Twitch channel is AOL_Recon, and Pegasus Rush, I believe it's Pegasus Rush, though it might be Pemera. Someone can link those in the chat for me, and I'll put them in the description box below. But Pegasus Rush, he's already grabbed a little bit of gold here. He's already getting his temple up. He's already pushing villagers over onto wood. He's onto these hippos as well. He's going to be going for a really quick advance time. He can potentially advance right now if he wants to. He can also pre-queue and advance here as well if he wants to cut that villager, and that's totally fine. So if you want to go for a 2:30 advance time, but you don't have the temple finished in time, you can queue up a villager, and then you can pre-queue that and get like a 2:34 advance time, but you're still going to be getting out your villager at 3:45. So it's like you're not actually slowed down in the slightest. It's actually a really good way to play. But Pegasus Rush just goes for 3:45. I like this 3:45 advance a little bit more than the 3:30 advance that I've been seeing some Zeus players playing. Reason being is you just have that little bit extra economy. It's around about 60 more resources total, so just allow you to afford everything. That's the difference between affording a house or affording a storehouse or not, and that can really boost your overall economy to really help yourself out. Mister's in the chat as well. There's so many people to get out there and watch some first-person perspective. The Mr. AOE is his Twitch channel. Check him out whenever he decides to give away some secrets. We'll see how the thing's going to go. We do see those upgrades coming in. One of the big bonuses for Freyr is that he gets 50% reduced upgrades, but they do take a lot longer to research. You can see that, for example, I can't show you. Is it going to show me here? You can see here that this takes 75 seconds, husbandry, 75 seconds to research, which is a very long time. Alrighty, let's take a quick look over at Pegasus Rush and see what he's going for. He opens with the military academy and the archery range. This is going to be a really standard opener for Greek. You get the ranged backbone with those archers. You get those hoplites that are really strong as well, and you're going to have a great game. I want to say there's this other technology here, which I think... Oh, no, it's not. It's for Hermes. Okay, I'll take that all back. There's not another technology. There is a Hermes technology, which is pretty much a must grab, which sits underneath the Pegasus. Get you a free Pegasus out for the rest of the game, and that can be a big thing. It's really cheap as well. But Pegasus Rush goes through Athena here, so it doesn't get access to that one. So he has to put his favor into something else. Let's do this. Okay. So Recon at the moment, he's got himself out a longhouse. He's got himself out a temple. So he's not going to be able to afford any any raiding cavalry just yet. But he's got those berserks, which are really, really strong. A little bit weaker than the hoplites, but they're still really, really strong, as we do see a nice little engagement here from Recon. Snipes a Toxote at the start of that fight, and we do have Jason going to be charging in to try and take out the Drago, but great micro from Recon thus far, as that Minotaur here attempting to retreat around. It's really hard to pick off those Her, so you've got to get hoplites onto them in a way, as we do see the bolt there onto one of those Her, so I think he might be regretting that a little bit later. Did he pick off that Draugr? Looks like he might have sniped the Draugr in the main base there as well, but he lost his Jason for it. That's good trade for Recon after all is said and done, as the Great Hall going to be popping up here as well. We do have a lot of pressure coming onto this one here. I do wonder at this point, because Recon is opted into not putting wall segments around his towers. I haven't actually seen much of this super early aggression from Zeus players, so I don't know if those wall segments just take too long to place, they aren't good, or what, but this tower is now going to be completely out in the open and a point of weakness for Pegasus Rush to target down. But Pegasus Rush is going to continue pushing forward here. Does almost snipe a raiding cavalry there, but great micro from Recon, just running this one around, causing some problems here for Pegasus Rush. As the Toxotes, they will be able to clean up this army here. This is a good fight at the moment now for Pegasus. He's going to be winning that one nicely, as Recon needs to retreat back into his main base. And after the dust is settled, Pegasus Rush is up 20 population. Watchtowers is in, and the hoplites are going to attempt to take this tower down at the moment. You can start thinking about trying to dodge arrows here. Pegasus Rush can only really fit 3 hoplites onto this tower at a time, but he's going to be able to snipe that one down for the trade of 2 hoplites there. Not a terrible trade, not a great trade, but a trade nonetheless. And basically, Recon just needs to turtle here and spend his resources and get back into this game somehow. Because, well, one, villager difference here is kind of in favor of Pegasus Rush, but for no real good reason. It's not because, it's just because that's how this matchup kind of goes. The villagers start 1 less for the Norse, so they're going to always be 1 less behind. But at the moment, this is 4 less, and I think that the problem basically has been here for Recon, that he's just had a little bit of a challenge pumping out units, and he needed to prioritize those units coming out, so he's had a little bit of idle time in his town center. Could be wrong about that, though, as the villagers here, nice raid coming in. Pegasus Rush has not defended his base in the slightest. You can actually see he's got a little bit of gold in the bank here. Getting some walls up would have been a real big help, but he's going to be losing a lot of villagers, and this is exactly what Recon needs to have happen here. Pegasus Rush not paying attention to this raid at all. He's lost 2 villagers already. All he needed to do was run for the tower here, and he was completely fine against that raid. But great raid there from Recon, as Recon's going to be searching around. There are some villagers over here as well. Now, these villagers here, then they are kind of weak, but this is only 3 raiding cavalry. I wonder if you turn around and shank, maybe you can actually not need to retreat away from there, because that's 6 hack damage a second, 55 HP against the 105. It's a close one, in all honesty, as to whether or not it's going to work. This hippo, he knows the villager to a target down. Very low HP there, as Recon's just waiting on that raid for some potential for Pegasus Rush to maybe be a little bit distracted with his own army. Nope, he's just going to go in straight away, and we do see the villagers turning around, and they do decide to shank. This is really, really smart here from Pegasus Rush, especially with a hoplite coming over here to deal with this, and Recon quickly, smartly retreating away from this position. Meanwhile, on this spot here, we do see the Katoska boss getting sniped down. Great find there from Recon. He needs to have this gold mine as an option to move to a little bit later, and in that little bit later is right now, as the Minotaur comes in. That one dwarf falls, but the dwarves are going to be rotating over to the other side here, as the hoplite and Toxote kind of sit on this position here. I think if 2 hoplites were just sitting on this hunt, it would be very, very safe, but he doesn't quite have them there. Great snipe on that Toxote there before retreating away. He can micro that raiding cavalry around if he wants to, but the hoplite going to get a lot of damage done and then fall at the end of it all. Meanwhile, over here, we've got the raids coming back in onto those villagers there. We'll see if Pegasus Rush can make any sort of retreat or fight back here. It looks like he's not paying attention on this one, so villagers will be falling. He's going to be making a retreat, and those villagers are all going to be going down here, as Recon is getting really, really close to equal villager numbers. In fact, he's now hit that. He's one behind, so he's in a really great position. Those dwarves are gathering much faster than the gatherers or the villagers of Greek, so Recon's economy is in a great spot. He's now equal on military as well. And when you're playing as Freyr, equal or military, that's not a place you want to, when you're playing against Freyr, equal or military is not a place you want to be in the slightest. Great raid here onto the town center. Pegasus Rush not paying attention. He doesn't garrison those villages. He is going in with an attack over here as the Astion, I can't speak. What is it called? The Asgardian Bastion gets denied there, and Gullenbursty gets popped down, and Pegasus Rush going to be retreating away from that position there as that Gullenbursty is an absolute tank. Look at that, just sending that Toxote flying here. And we'll see if Pegasus Rush can keep playing and keep going in this fight. Well, the fact of the matter, though, is Pegasus Rush has denied the Asgardian Bastion. So this gold mine is very much out in the open here to be attacked. But Pegasus Rush needs to be careful about the fights he's taking. He's now behind in military by a significant amount, so he needs to take good fights here and not go too aggressive, though potentially he could just get a whole bunch of those those Minotaurs out, and they can be really challenging to deal with. Though we are seeing Recon making a really smart move. In Age Mythology, there are 2 units that counter myth units really well. You've got heroes and you've got myth units. So the Draugr here, they're a ranged unit with 2x bonus with 2 divine damage. That's true damage there. So they're going to absolutely demolish these Minotaurs as Pegasus Rush sees his opportunity to push forward. The raiding cavalry are all in the main base of Pegasus Rush at the moment here, as the Draugr are going to attempt to get a little bit of damage done as the Dwarves are going to be retreating back. Pegasus attempting to get onto those here. Going to have to take that fight. Does have that huge headbutt dealing tons of damage, allowing those Toxotes to get a crazy good amount of fire in while everyone else is kind of idle there. But now Pegasus Rush has to retreat back from this position. The Dwarves get back onto the gold mine. The raiding cavalry are now going to be retreating back onto this front here. And Pegasus, he's only at 64 population right now. Recon has got an incredible advantage here. 1 Minotaur down. Raiding cavalry coming through. 2 surround. Minotaurs using all of their special abilities straight away, getting as much of that splash damage in as well. As another Minotaur going to be coming onto the back here. But those Draugr on the back of this fight are just so insanely strong at taking out those myth units that it was just not enough here for Pegasus to take that fight and be that aggressive in that moment of this game. And in the end here, Recon claims the dub here. It was a little bit dangerous in the early game here. Pegasus was playing it really nicely. He pushed Recon back into his base, had a significant, healthy military advantage. And sometimes all you need to do is take that military advantage and then you just have to convert it into something else. So for example here, I think Pegasus was up by like 1,000 resources. He could have dropped a town center with those 1,000 resources and just played a defensive game here with an advantage. Or he could have spammed out more units, retreated back, and just waited for that gold mine to expire in the main base and then go for a big attack. Or he could have gone Heroic Age and tried to make that work instead of just continuing to rush in and leave his economy open for those really quick raids. Lots of different options for Pegasus to consider here, but Recon, a really great play from behind here, pulled himself back into this game in a great way. If we take a quick look at the statistics here, the timeline, you can see this resource value here right at this point. This is like 1,000 resource difference for Pegasus. That was the big point in the game where Pegasus just had to make a really good decision, and unfortunately it didn't seem like he was able to do so, and Recon just pulls himself back into this game with some really nice raids. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you enjoyed Recon's perspective, go and check him out, AOL Recon. If you enjoyed Pegasus' perspective here, go and check him out. Both of them are on Twitch, and I'll see you guys in the next game.